Migration to a new identity. Casa Tonalá was founded in 2012 as a community-based organization in Mexico City that prioritizes solidarity practices and building trust with individuals and communities. We believe the heart of our work lies in our walk-in service, offering single-session therapy to individuals, families, couples, and others, facilitated by a team of multidisciplinary professionals. Our therapeutic framework is rooted in narrative therapy. Our hope is to support those who cannot afford therapy or do not qualify for government mental health programs. We work as a team, and all our therapists are volunteers, as we are a self-sustaining, nonprofit collective. Our work includes therapeutic conversations, courses, seminars, and workshops from an ethical, inclusive, and feminist perspective, while considering intersections of power, gender, ethnicity, class, sexual orientation, and diverse abilities. Introduction to supporting men who use violence. What guides our work with men who use violence? Caring as a political act. We live in a society that often responds to violence with more violence, using punitive methods that seek to control, correct, or fix those who have caused harm. But what happens when we choose care over punishment? Necessary questions arise. How do we maintain respectful support without justifying violence? How do we create spaces where men feel safe enough to confront their actions without fear of absolute rejection? Care is not synonymous with forgiveness or impunity. It is a political act, a way to intervene in the world, opening possibilities for change without ignoring the harm done. It means recognizing that even those who have used violence are people with complex histories, abilities, unique knowledge, values, hopes, and above all, the capacity to transform. In a society that uses punishment to control violence, how do we create spaces where men feel safe to change? The ethics of care creates conditions for transformation without ignoring harm. An ethics of care acknowledges that even those who have caused harm are multi-storied individuals with wisdom, knowledge, and the capacity for change. As therapists, we must ask ourselves, how would I want to be treated if I were in their place? Am I acting from care or control? Am I supporting from a desire to control or a willingness to understand? This is the challenge: to care without denying responsibility, to support without reinforcing privilege, and to uphold humanity even where it seems hardest to find. Two conflicting ethics. Ethics of control, based on domination, controlling the other, emotional detachment, hierarchy, risks, pathologizes and re-traumatizes, denies vulnerability, leaves no room for listening or doubt. Ethics of care, based on interdependence. We are all human, even those who have caused harm. Relational responsibility, bonds that do not erase but enable. Seeing the person as a person, supporting with respect and compassion without naivete, caring for the caregiver too. It's not about carrying everything but setting healthy boundaries. Care provides a space for doubt, listening, and transformation. Introduction to the journey metaphor. What is the narrative metaphor? Life can be understood as a journey, a path that is not always straight or simple. In narrative practices, we use the journey metaphor to accompany identity transformation. Each person carries a suitcase filled with stories, values, practices, and dreams yet to be named. Migration of identity. When supporting men who have used violence, we work with the idea of identity migration. According to narrative practices, identity is not fixed. It is constructed in relation to others, to culture, and to specific contexts. Migrating from an identity rooted in violence to an identity based on respect, care, and accountability is possible. This journey unfolds in 3 phases. 1. Separation. 2. Liminality, which is a transitional phase. And 3. Reincorporation. The first phase is separation. Here, we help identify the beliefs, learned behaviors, and practices that sustained violence. Instead of justifying it, we explore, how did you learn that being a man meant acting with control or domination? What effects did this story have on your life and relationships? Separating from these narratives opens space for new ways of being a man. 2. Liminality transition phase. The second phase is transition, an uncertain territory. Here, men begin questioning and acting differently, though they may sometimes falter or doubt. In this stage, we work to recognize moments when they acted non-violently, values and commitments that contrast with violence. As Michael White and Nancy Gray suggest, these small openings allow for new life stories to emerge. 3. Reincorporation. The third phase is reincorporation. Here, a new preferred identity takes shape. Change is not just dreamed, it must be practiced in concrete actions of respect, care, and discernment in daily life. As narrative practice teaches, building new paths also requires communities that support and bear witness to this transformation. Closing the journey metaphor. Identity migration is not a single event. It is an ongoing journey, a living practice. Each step away from violence, each gesture of respect and repair, plants a new story for those once trapped in narratives of pain. In every rewritten map, there lies the hope of a different future. A possible future. Where have we applied this approach? We have found it useful to accompany men who have used violence by employing the journey metaphor alongside the ethics of care. This has guided workshops and trainings in different contexts, grounded in these ethical principles. One of the most challenging tests of this approach was informing men's groups to support young offenders in Mexico City as part of the Reconecta con la Paz program. This initiative promotes accountability processes overseen by a judge rather than punitive sentencing. Casa Tonalá's men's group model. Our men's group began in October 2018, driven by the need for men to reflect together through a gender and feminist lens, identifying machista behaviors such as abusive behavior, either verbally or physically, attempts at controlling others, or aligning with various other misogynistic or homophobic behavior. Our conversatorial format, led by 3 facilitators, has been running collectively for over 6 years. The first stage, in person, consists of 11 thematic meetings from Oct 2018 to Jan 2020. The second stage, virtual, began during the pandemic, May 2020, and continues today. And from 2022 to the present day, our meetings have been held bi-weekly twice a month, centered around an ethical practice called giving an account of oneself. In this process, a participant voluntarily shares a challenging situation through an interview with one of the group's 3 facilitators. The other participants become an active audience, listening deeply and reflecting, drawing connections to their own lived experiences. This fosters both individual and collective reflection, guided by narrative questioning through the outsider witnesses exercise. To close, each person shares where they're at and how they've been moved by the session.